Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Your Football Show. It is time for your live press conference reaction to Daniel Farke's final one of the season before the playoffs. Yes, the playoffs. Because, yeah, listen, I've done a preview. I'm resigned to the fact the playoffs. I'm even resigned to the fact that we won't do it over two legs. This is me, so I'll be surprised. I'll be shocked. Which is a good place to be at. We're going to talk about Daniel Farke's presser. Naturally so. There's stuff we can debate, and there's stuff we can agree with, and all that sort of stuff. What I will say, and hopefully this does put quite a few people in the bin, this whole notion and rhetoric that people who thought they were ITK all season have been going, tell you what it is, them 49ers, they're proper businessmen. They will not settle for this, you know. If we don't go up, it's a failure. He'll be gone. He'll be gone. Listening to the man speak, having known that he's spoken with the 49ers, he is going nowhere. He is going nowhere, okay? I said it was 95% sure. I'm now 100%. Like, the guy's not going nowhere. He's said a number of things during that presser where he was like, did I think we'd even be in this position? Probably not. Yeah? All these little bits and bats, really, that have... that is now he's allowed to bring to light because it's in effect over, right? You know, so yeah, we're there. Yeah, I did. The mad thing is, this is where it become, and I was going to speak to him when he comes on here, because he comments on my video. Me and Connor have spoken. You know, I think there seems to be this general notion that we don't converse. We don't agree on many, many footballing topics. Emotions also get high on many, many footballing topics. Emotions get high on video where I know he'll have said something, he knows I've said something, not even, but from a point of, let's have a discussion about him being sacked, me. No, we're not even having that discussion here. But if everyone was the same, life would be boring. But to see that was like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here, man? Like, it was funny. And listen, I spoke to him because someone sent me the actual screen grab saying, did you think this? And I thought it was funny. And then, yeah, me and him spoke. You know what I mean? It's mad. It's mad. And he said he'd received Twitter DMs, Instagram DMs, and also messages on his video. Get a grip, people. Get a grip, people. If I had anything like, listen, anyone could say what they want, can't they? At the end of it, I just thought it was a bit like, what are we doing here? Were you at school? You know what I mean? I'm 36, Connor's 30 odd. You know what I mean? It's a bit mad. Yeah, there might be little jibes here and there because we come from different standpoints with our fandom at times. Do I think sometimes Connor's too negative? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Does he probably think my head's in the clouds sometimes? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Do you know what I mean? We did a video on All Leeds TV the season after we didn't get promoted. I always remember it because it was funny. And you can go watch this video. We did a season preview. And the season before, I'd been saying all the time, it's written in the stars. And then the second season, and I went, I'm telling you, it's written in the season. And he turned around and went, don't start with that shit, Joe. But that's what, it's different. It's just different, that's all. So to do that, do I think he's negative? Yes. Does he think I'm too positive? Yeah. But to see people like going, oh, I'm going to like, you know, put a message on his video. Come on, man. It's a bit mad, really. Do you know what I mean? Big up to Lewis in the chat as well. Yeah, mad. It's funny though. I just thought it was proper like, what are we doing here? Like, it was hilarious. I almost felt like it was a bit, I was back at school. So I had to like message him and say, just so you know, like, I don't know. And he went back and watched the video and he was like, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, we move, right? We move. That's that done. I was going to address it when I see Becchio's bulge in my chat. But obviously, someone brought it up there, so I thought, right, we'll do it. Anyway, let's get into some proper stuff now, what we're here for. Not some fucking YouTube thingy that isn't even there. Do you know? And maybe we'll do a video, counter views, his point, my point, his point. Because we disagree on a lot, but that's fine. We also agree on a lot. That's fine. Anyway, right, okay. Listen, there was loads in this. To be honest. We'll start right from the top and work our way down, right? We'll work our way down. The thumbnail of this is start Matteo. Because what we learned from the presser, for me, Bamford's not going to play. And if Bamford's not going to play, regardless if Farke says in the presser he doesn't feel let down by certain individuals, and of course he's going to say that, I don't want to see Joel Pirro leading the line. So the only other 9 we've got is Mateo Joseph. Now, if Bamford was fit, I wouldn't be saying this. So this isn't, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not whataboutery. It's not me going, yeah, I now agree with everyone months ago that said he should have started, because I don't think it was right. And I'm going to show you a few things, because Farke touched on it as well. The video might get copy struck, but I wanted to show you something, because these are the things you don't see. These are the things you don't think about when you just say, oh, well, you should just start him. You should just start him because he's got energy or something. There's also parts of his game that need improving. And Farke touched on one specific point about his defending from a set piece due to him taking Byram off. I've actually got a video because, and listen, we didn't speak about it because you don't want people thinking you push a narrative, but this video was put in a group chat with Lockie and Andrea about, I'm going to show you the date it was actually, but you don't want to go, oh, well, see, everyone wanted him to start and look at this error that he made, but now that Farke's mentioned it, I think it's good for us to talk about it. I think it was either the night or the day after the QPR result. And this isn't to dig Matteo out, but it's just little things that we don't see, because everyone goes, well, a striker's there to score goals. And a lot of it is when they're criticising Bam, oh, he can move around and he can do all this, but he can't. But then they don't take into consideration, the other bits. And Farke touched on the fact he took Byram off at 2-0. And both goals for QPR, third and fourth, came from Byram being out of position because he wasn't on the pitch. And the man that replaced him was Mateo Joseph. Now, you'll see from the clip I am going to share with you how he gets bodied. Like, from the defensive standpoint. Yeah, bodied. And he even looks to the referee and it's like, Matteo, come on. But all he's done, when he's gone up, whoever scored the goal can see, naive you, mate, you've gone flying. And he just gives him the slightest nudge, which sends him out and he scores the goal. But that's that experience which also Farke spoke about, which we lack in, which I said over the last two days. No, I haven't, Stacey. It's in the Star chat, love. I'm just talking. Which I've been saying in the last 2 days. We lack experience when you compare it with the other two teams that look like they've got top two. Fucking hell, please, man. If I show one clip, right, I'm not criticising the whole aspect of his game, man. Why do we have to do this all the time? You either critique or praise. Someone's amazing or someone's shit. I'm saying these parts that we don't see. Now everyone should... Like this is the most insane comment. Did anyone hear me? Please go back and listen. Did anyone hear me in the 10 minutes and 9 seconds that I've been speaking say the main job of a striker is to defend from a corner? Did anyone hear that come out of my mouth? Because if they did, I'll turn it off now. If I've said that, then I'll turn it off. No, I didn't say that. So what are we doing here, Philip? Are we making things up? Mental. Big up to Stacey, who's been a member for 15 months, by the way, as well. Yeah, man, Vic, it's insane. Apparently, you know, I said that I never said that. Never said that once, but okay. Anyway, we'll go to Farke on injuries. We'll discuss that later on, seeing as people are obviously not hearing what I'm saying. Farke on injuries. We have our long-term injuries. Dallas Strout out for the season. Dan James will miss the game, which we thought we would. I'm a bit stressed, Kevin, yeah. Dan James will miss the game. No chance, which we thought he would. Big question mark over Connor Roberts. Said that as well. I didn't see him getting backed. Or back, involved in parts of team training, not ready for 90 minutes, so he's not going to start. So it'll be a late decision with him. Big question mark behind Patrick Bamford. No full team training, just individual work. Not sure how many minutes he'll get. Berencroft asked him for some further clarity on the Bamford situation later on. He said, I expected him to be back earlier because there is no damage on the scan, but the bruise affects the ligament and he's not capable to stretch his leg. We've tried injection therapy. It was a bit of a surprise we cannot get this bruise out of his knee. It's an area on the knee that's difficult to treat manually. We hope the injections help. I hope there's a chance he's back to team training tomorrow. I'm not sure if he's ready to start the game because he missed a bit too much, but we try everything. There is no major injury. How should I label it? A bit unlucky. It happened in the game. A slide tackle against the post. No one can be blamed for it. So it's a bit inconclusive about what's actually going on with Bamford. But in terms of him starting, I'm not sure. And if he doesn't, I want Joseph to start. If Joel Pirro starts, I'll be frustrated because he can't do the 9 to a sufficient level. So yeah, I hope he starts there. But like I say, Farke on Bamford's injury, sounded frustrated with it as well. But we need him. We do need him for the playoffs because if we don't have Bamford, we will definitely not go through the playoffs, and people will be like, "What? Get him out!" You know, when I see like people's reasoning for us not going up, is Cooper, Bamford, and Farke. And I seen a post that said, "Get these idiots out of my club." But now, if Bamford isn't fit for the place, we don't go up. We've got no cat in hell's chance. And that's how important he is. Benzuko lives says, or Benzuko lives. It's quite infuriating hearing Farke dodge playoff take. It's good to stay optimistic, but come on, man. He'll address that when he needs to address it. You can't have the manager coming out and saying, yeah, it's done. You can't. You've got to try and keep the players' mentality high. Even just for us, for him. If not for us, but for him as well. And for the squad. Because if you start talking about playoffs, you're already resigning yourself to that. I genuinely think... I genuinely think that it is done. It is done. But can you imagine if he was talking about playoffs and he took this game with a pinch of salt and Huddersfield did a mad one? What if Huddersfield did a mad one and then we were just taking it nonchalantly and we don't win? Next game, Steve is bang on the money there. Next game is always the priority, 100%. Wrong on what? What am I wrong on? I don't know what I'm wrong on. Tell me what I'm wrong on. Yeah, Evie, this is what I mean, man. I think Joe Blackburn was having an argument with someone in the chat where they were saying that it's too late now to play Joseph, and he's like, what the fuck? Yeah, I agree, Michael. I agree. I agree. Again, you're not listening, but... the players can't have that mentality. The players can't have that mentality. Because what if? What if? You remember, you forget, folks, right? This is a 50-50, right, between Huddersfield and Ipswich. Maybe Huddersfield want to show something. Again, this isn't my thing, but a manager, a team, all these people can't go into a game thinking it's impossible. I know, Vic. Imagine. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly, mate. It's insane. So, mental. Playoffs in mind for selection. So you mentioned this, yeah? I'm wrong about... Right, okay, well, Traveller, that's your opinion. That's fine. My opinion is, if Bamford's not fit and we don't start Joseph, we'll be done. Because we are a much better side with him in it. We don't lose 4-0 if Bamford plays against QPR. Definitely not. Anyway, let's get back. Playoffs in mind for selection. No, we never take risks with any players because health is paramount. If you risk a player and pray he delivers, you have to earn your spot in training during the week. So, like risking a Bamford, a Roberts, etc. It's not possible to be in the squad. We are not thinking about after the last game. We know it's a small chance to go into the top 2. So for those that said he was batting away playoffs, again, listen to the man. We know it's a small chance to go into the top 2. But if there is a chance, we go for it. Now imagine he said, yeah, playoffs in mind for selection because it's done. That's not what you want to hear as a player, as a coach, or anything, you know. What we've got to do is be there with our best performance and get the best possible result and see what happens. He said, of course, some help from somewhere is needed. Even for the playoffs, a win this weekend is needed just to take us into that. Yeah, 100%. I think Russell Martin, I've seen something he would said, like, he doesn't think it'll have no bearing and stuff. You know, so... Yeah, let me just get onto this, because, again, people... So, are you saying without Bamford we won more games? No. No, I didn't say that. So are you saying without Bamford we won more games? No, we won more with him. Did I say it wrong or something? Or do you just have an agenda against Pat? I don't know. I don't know what you're on about, bro. What does me, Joseph... I don't know. Do you play? Are you on the bench, Tony Green? I didn't know. Must be a new player. So what does me, Tony... So what does Tony Green, Joseph and Joffrey... Surely better than Pirro. Right, okay, so... Oh, there's too much there. Philip, you always say this. Do me a favour, bro. Do me a favour. Tranquillo. Because you chat shit all the time. On about lying about what I said or something. Everyone saw your comment. What are you going on about? What are you going on about? Philip, you're also... Let's not forget, you also said that Archie Gray only gets played because he's a Grey. What are we going to do, man? Well, exactly, Top Yank Joffrey's better. You know? It's mental. It's kind of written down, Vega, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, what he said. Oh, God. Mental. It's hard sometimes, LUFC, when you're up a height because it's just idiocy. Oh, God. Anyway, right, okay. I agree. Yep. Philip, just to round off, right, because it's just come back to me now. Your comment was, Joe, you're saying the main priority of a striker is to defend a set piece. And I said, no, I didn't say that. You know? I don't know. You are bipolar like me in your commentary and support. That's what our club does to us. It does, man. It does. Necromancer says it was your fault, Joe. You went too early. I know. It's quite funny, actually, bro, because when Leicester put, I predict a riot, I went, we deserve this. And some Leeds fan went, no, you deserve it. And then I went, oh my God, like, what do you mean? I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I watch. I'm not playing. I'm not manager. So I just blocked him. I just blocked him. Yes. Someone just put complete waffle from Farke. Didn't talk about what relevant topics, Sugary? Because I think he spoke about loads, man. I think he spoke about loads, man. To be honest. Right. Okay. Yeah, Trevor. I know. It's difficult. Though. But I also like to have a bit of fun with it. Sometimes, you know. Anyway, right. Players' reaction. What has been the players' reaction to the 4-0 drubbing by QPR? He said, as you would expect, they're all disappointed. We analysed it the next day. If you remember, they got brought in as well. We trained. They're still disappointed. Normally, Saturday, you know, you don't want to get out of bed or talk about football, but you have to. After speaking about the things and after training, it helps. Since the beginning of the new week, we are ready to go. We've had a good week so far. No guarantee you win the next game. We have to be at our best, though, to beat Southampton. Carefully optimistic we can bring this training into the game. I think he made a point as well, like how when we've had like a full week's training, we've always tend to have done better or got better results. So he mentioned this. I did think, if I'm being honest with you, that he did have a few excuses. Yeah. He had a few excuses in relation to away fixtures, as I'm hearing him say it, and a lot of the fixture congestion. But it didn't wash with me, and the reason it didn't wash with me is because Ipswich had to play 3 in 7 days, and they got their business done. So that's why it didn't wash. I went, you can't really use that as an example because the team that signed second have had to play 3 in 7 days, and they've done. Do you know what I mean? So that's where it became. Yeah, it was mad. So I didn't agree with them parts of the presser because I was a bit like, I'm not sure about that, mate, but it is what it is. He was asked, how critical were you? He says, I always am. I never play psychological games. They get plaudits when we play well, and if they're poor, we'll be critical. Players want honesty. No games, you know. Friday was not good, and I had to be critical, but remembered the bigger picture and what these lads have done. We are not finished with the end product yet. We have a young squad, and again, that's something and to be fair, me and Jer did a stream yesterday, and there was a lot of positive comments on the back of it. Saying how it made people take a step back, look at it differently, and that's sort of like what Farke will do at the end of the season. This is why they're in the big positions. This is what the 49ers will be doing. They won't be making a rash decision on the end of a season. Do you know what I mean? Because business people don't work like that, do they? You know? No, but Ollie, my point is there's been a lot of changes. We're not the only ones. Sometimes it can be a bit like, oh my God, Leicester also had to do this. Ipswich have also had to do it. If it was just us, I would agree. If it was just us, I would agree. But it's not. So this is my point. Let's not use it as an excuse at this stage of the season. I get it. But it's the same for everybody. Leicester were exactly the same. So it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. I just I just felt at that moment in time, it wasn't right to mention them things. Just my opinion. Yeah, just my opinion. And I think, you know, there's people mentioning. I'm gonna mute him if you can. Philip, bro, I like you and that, but I'm gonna mute you if you carry on because I'm getting triggered by it. Yeah, I am. I'm getting triggered by it. So to save myself, I'm just gonna mute you. But I prefer not to do that, bro. So just don't make silly, stupid comments, and then I won't bring them up. You know what I mean? Just do me a favour though, because I will just have to mute you. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to have to do that. Because you just keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. I've seen it. Boom. Just move on. Yeah? If it helps you, I'm sorry. Okay? But let's just move on, bro. Yeah? So Farke on the state of play. Okay? I don't have the feeling some players have let me down because he was asked a specific question about being let down. Yeah? I don't have the feeling some players have let me down, okay? He says, it's important not to lose nerves and to look at the bigger picture. And that's something, you know, we have to remember as well as a fan base. I know we don't, yeah? But at the time, sometimes it's after the fact. I reckon a couple of weeks after the fact, not even a week, maybe a week. Do you know, I know some of Farke's biggest critics that I've had conversations with over the last 48 hours have said, do you know what? You know, now I'm more relaxed because I know Ipswich have done what they needed to do. I can see it for what it is. And I'm okay and I'm excited for next season if we don't go up through the playoffs, you know? So I think that's that thing of taking a step back, yeah? And that's what he's saying, you know, we've not to lose our nerves and look at the bigger picture and show them the data, yeah? Show them the data. But say, look, this is what we've done right. This is what we've done wrong. Let's not forget all these good points. He says, we were all disappointed and pretty self-critical after the outcome against QPR. No question we were in this mood. When I signed the contract here, in order to create something really special, perhaps what the club has not achieved in the last 2 decades. I did like how he said decades. We played 3 seasons on Premier League level. And do you remember yesterday? I went on a bit of a rant. And I said people are entitled. We've had 3 seasons in the Premier League and mentioned how West Brom had spent more time than us. Norwich has spent more time than us in the Premier League. There was a sense of entitlement. And this is similar to what's being said by Farke here, you know? Because we played 3 seasons in the Premier League level. 1 fantastic season under Marcelo, but the 3rd season ended with relegation. And remember, and I still stand by this point, yeah? Still stand by this point that had Bielsa never come through this football club, we wouldn't even be in this position. So really we owe that down to one man to know that we managed to get to the Prem, sell the club to the 49ers, have a decent ownership, and were then able to bring in Daniel Farke. Because guess what? We'd have just been languishing season after season where we were, you know? So he did say, we are not allowed to label ourselves an established Premier League side. And my aim is to bring this team and club back to the big stage. Not to say that they're for one good season, but one day we are an established side, yeah? I was fully aware it'll be tricky in the first season, at the first time of asking to get back. And it almost feels like, now that he knows it's sort of done, he's now explaining what's actually gone. And then this won't be just him, yeah? This won't be just him. This will be the conversations with the 49ers and stuff. They'd have known this situation. Someone just put in the comments about the shit show that was here, you know? He said, I knew about our situation, the obvious reasons, contracts, whatever. I was fully aware. We go for it, but it will be difficult. Once I came in and then I knew all the details, it was worse than I already thought. So he'd been given the lowdown by the 49ers. He'd been given the lowdown. He then comes in and he goes, wow, okay. You know? it's worse. It's worse than what he established. So therefore, he's making this point. Now, people might say he's using that as an excuse and all that sort of stuff, and I hear it. But he's explaining why he probably feels like that. Actually, we've done well, because there's a lot of people that go, with this squad, any manager would get us in Prem. Again, I don't agree. Louis, no one sat here saying that we aren't a big club. Yeah? We aren't a big club. I agree we are. Fans, yeah? Reach. It's not comparable to a lot of teams in the Premier League. Sorry, Brighton. Sorry, Brentford. Sorry, Crystal Palace. You know? Other clubs of that ilk cannot chat to Leeds. But guess what? They've been in the Premier League. We can't chat to them right now. So whatever you think of where we're at now, yeah, I agree. Forget mid-table. We should be challenging for Europe, bro. But we have no divine right, unfortunately. And I think sometimes people feel that we have a divine right, especially when you see people casting off on the manager, mugging him off after a fantastic season, saying, nah. And for me, that's entitlement. Because prior to Bielsa coming in, for us to have a season like this would have been like you would not believe. Look at how excited we got after Monk. And then we missed out. So to think that we've got 90 plus, could have 90 plus points and finish third and people are not happy, that's entitlement, bro. That is entitlement for me. But I agree with what you're saying here. Please don't get it twisted. I do think we're a huge club. I do think, we should be there. Yeah, he's not saying about the ownership, Joe. What he's saying is, with the right ownership, Leeds United should be dining at the top table, and I agree with him. 100%. He's not saying anything about the 49ers. He's saying hopefully the 49ers are that ownership that can take us there. But this is my point, is like, we don't have a divine right. We only got there, and look, you strip it all back, again, you have to thank Bielsa, I'm telling you. Because do the 49ers do what they've done if we never got to the Premier League? Would they have taken it off him at the price? All these different things. So it's, we owe that man so much, in my opinion, anyway. So he says, if we go on, we don't have to speak about the beginning of the season. After 10 games, you would have told me we'd be here after 45 games safe in the playoffs. Would definitely finish not worse than position third in the league. A theoretical chance to push into the top two on our last day. It would have sounded like a dream in September. So he's sort of stripping it back now and letting us know that, actually they've done much better than they probably anticipated. Now, he could just be using this as copium. He could just be using this as a way as a coping mechanism, really. But also, there may be elements of truth to it. Again, this is the point that I'm saying, is about like the young squad and all that. But everyone would have you believe on Twitter that, we had a divine right and all this sort of stuff. So he said, if you would have told me we'd be on 90 points, I'd say you're kidding. That we'll be in third with 90 points. Because normally, if you've got 90 points, you're in the top two, It's just due to the incredible work of my lads that we're in this position. We all know a bit better. If we'd have been a bit better in the running, we could be in an even more comfortable situation. We know there are a few reasons why we didn't have the best running. But I will never forget about the bigger picture. And as a fan, I would ask you to do the same before you start castigating the manager and asking for him to be sacked. He says, I understand the criticism of why our supporters are down or disappointed. Ipswich winning a game, of course, that feeling is you're disappointed. But it also feels like I'm not in a depression mode. I'm really positive and optimistic and excited for what lies ahead of us. First is Saturday. We need some help, but we go for it, and I'm excited. The way that this man speaks in press conferences on about belief and, fans that don't have belief, my man's quite in tune with what goes on social media and what gets said, in my opinion. I genuinely think this. And because he's tuned into fans' criticism and them being down and disappointed. Because do you know what really, really do you know what really, really frustrated me on Tuesday was everyone was saying, right, that's it, get Farke out when Ipswich won. So had that game not even been played there, no one would have had that reaction. So when I was seeing that reaction, I was like, you do realise that Farke wasn't the Coventry manager? Like, he's not Mark Robbins? Like, someone had said, get Farke out immediately, in response to one of my posts, So I had a quick search on the Twitter, and only 9, or maybe a week ago, said Daniel Farke was the man. How can you have such a flex in a week from being the man to get him out in a week? That to me is, I don't know what that is. It's insane is what it is. In my opinion, that's insanity. Like, because in a week, and in that week, we'd played twice, won one, lost one. So really, the reason for him wanting him to get out immediately was because Ipswich won a game that we were involved in. That's what really gets that's what really gets me mad. Mad. It gets me mad, and then wanted to come out fighting, in a sense, you know. Because I just think it goes beyond logic sometimes and beyond criticism. Someone called Farke a CUNT on Twitter. What? Why? Why are we doing that? This is the manager of our football club, who has done nothing but be respectful and carry it with dignity. You know, we've had clowns manage this football club, made us look like mugs, and this guy's had dignity throughout. When dealing with referees, when dealing with other managers, when dealing with fans, we're dealing with the situation, we're dealing with players, and people are calling him a CUNT. Mental. Paul G says, so was Jesse, Joe. So was Jesse what? Jesse was a CUNT. I'm sorry. Because the way that he did behave wasn't becoming of a manager. Telling people to go foul, shouting shit at players on the sideline, lying, you know, you don't get that from Farke. So if you're trying to say that they're the same, Paul, then I think you're in the wrong game, my man. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's the points on that. I think there was loads in there. He said we can go for it. We'll be excited, but what I won't be doing is throwing the baby out with the bathwater kind of thing, you know. Did someone manage to get that quick? My moderators are on it today. I swear they're on it. No, you misconstrued in it, mate. There's a difference with a CUNT and that, though. I don't know. Are you a Jesse fan, Paul? Are you a Jesse fan? Are you a Jesse fan, Paul? Is that why you've got to be in your bonnet about Jesse? Jesse got more than enough support from a lot of people. But when you put Rafinha at right back, yeah, and you put Rafinha on long throws against Chelsea, you start to lose support because you start to think you're wild. I was one of them, yeah. I never called him a CUNT on in Twitter. I know I just did then, but that's because you came. But they're not the same, Paul. They're not the same, mate. They're not the same. So yeah, you called him shit as well, so you can't be. Anyway, back to the notes. Back to the notes, people. So that was him on the state of play. Marsh was mad, wasn't he? See, Martin, you've let yourself down here, right? Because whoever Martin was saying that I was lying before, right? And I thought you were being genuine. And then you came again just a second ago and says, Joe, stop lying to the fans. And I thought, he's back again. But someone removed it. Now that you've put Jesse was a great manager for us, I know now you are just on the wind-up. So you've dropped the ball. Because now I won't get triggered by you because I realise what your game is. So you've really dropped the ball there. Unlucky, son. Unlucky. As Lucas Lever would say, unlucky. There was one the other... Do you remember the guy with the cat face? I forgot his name. Chris Groves. I hope he's watching. Chris made a comment, right? And he triggered me. Fair play, touche, right? So I sat there for a good 20 minutes, do you remember, just mumbling on about this Chris. Then he also dropped the ball because in the next video, the next day, 24 hours later, he went in my comments and went, I'm absolutely buzzing that you continue to talk of me. It means you're rattled. But what he's done there, he's fumbled the bag, and I'll tell you for why. Because he went and sat and watched it for 20 minutes. So I was like, what's worse, well, me being triggered or the fact that you went back to see if you triggered me? Like, watching a live stream 24 hours after the fact to sing, so it just made me laugh. So he dropped the ball. So Martin Wagon, you've dropped the ball. Yeah. You've dropped the ball. Anyway, we move. Impressive season. How much Saturday about showing resolved? Sorry. It's been an impressive season, Daniel. How much is Saturday about showing resolve? And he said it's a chance to finish top 2. We want to try it. If we manage to win it, it would equal this club's record points tally in the league. If we don't manage it, it's important to win for the confidence and mood for the playoffs. We know we play one of the best sides in Southampton. They've nothing to lose and will play with freedom. We've conceded too many goals and our last record as the best defend and lost our record, as the best defence in the league. It has been really, really bad. The defence since the turn after the international break. Graham Smith asked him, like, when you stop doing the basics, how do you ensure it doesn't happen again? Which is what happened, weren't it? We were terrible. He says this game is a bit like a playoff game because we need to win it. We've got to make sure we've got good defensive behaviour. That's always a great key. We have to be open and honest about what went wrong. Then also, Then also chat with the physios. Yeah, forget about that bit. Players are injured, it is what it is. But he said we've got to work on defensive behaviour on the training pitch. When we had 1 week to prepare for a game and 1 week to spend on the training pitch, normally we have always delivered. We've had a week between it. As he said this, I was going, okay, I hope the stats back that up, because if that is the case, we get quite a long layoff between games in the playoffs, which might help Leeds United. The moments we've struggled a bit was always when there was a quick turnaround like last week. QPR, Middlesbrough, etc. But he said, when we have time on the training pitch, we're always better. So it gives me hope, he says. And I have full belief that we'll be better than QPR. So let's hope that comes to fruition. Farke on focusing on strengths and improving different areas. If we look at like set pieces, for example, and creating goal scoring opportunities against low blocks and stuff, whatever you like, there's many ways that we can improve. It says both are important. You're not only working on the weaknesses, we want to gain the momentum back of being the best team scoring from set pieces during the first half of the season, which I didn't know, which is wild. So why such a drop off? Well, again, I mentioned about Cooper not being on the pitch. Byram's a decent header of the ball, but Strauk always got on the end of him, although he was poor. With his feet, he's great. So he says, recent weeks, the deliveries have been poor, the runs haven't been timed, and the players are not available who are capable to score. We had players, our takers, missing due to individual problems or muscular problems. Cree, Somerville always struggling. Dan James has muscle problems. We had the time this week to also focus on strengths and the little weaknesses. Scoring out of set pieces was also one of them. So they've been working on it, Asked if the players had meetings. He said they are honest. Even if I'm there, we are self-critical when we've had meeting. They are pretty self-critical as a group. Sometimes they have to be a bit more careful that they are not too self-critical, because we have so many young players that it then affects their games moving forward, because he mentions how players with experience can get over it, can move on. Young players can let it sit and fester, He said, for example, my centre-halves, Joe Rode and Ampadu, he says they've been training on finishing and attacking crosses in training, but he also had to stop them doing that because he said they were doing too much of it, that they're overloading it. You know, you're probably getting too much in your head. It has to come natural, right? You know, whenever you hear strikers talk about the finishing, Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, whoever it's all, Ian Wright's perfect at it. Like, all about natural. Like, Ian Wright was speaking the other week. He says there's nothing more frustrating for him than when he sees players warming up just laughing and that. Because he said, I just had to hit the target when I was warming up. So as long as I'm hitting the target and I know where the goal is, when I'm on the pitch, I know I don't even need to look. Bang. Bang. You know? So there's you can overdo it though as well, right? Underdo it, overcook it. It is what it is. So it's just great listening to like these top players' mentalities and stuff. And I think Farke obviously has probably said to him, look, you're probably overdoing it. Let's dial it back a bit, you know? Because then you might get too much in your head about it all, if we're being honest. Two more. He says, Farke on the running. If you want to bring it over the line, you also need a bit of luck. This is where I felt there were a few excuses personally. Few things we couldn't influence. Key players like Nonto, Gruev, Roberts come back from injury. Get away with that March international break. It needs to be done. Get it out. Because it's not just for us. Arsenal, City, all them going for the Premier League, they also had to go there. So get rid of it for me. He did say Rutter's surgery. We know since the international break, Rutter's not been great. You know, I can't influence the schedule, but normally you think, why do we have to play Monday and Friday? You need a bit of luck, which is true. He says in the games that we did play, QPR Borough, we didn't have Connor Roberts, didn't have Dan James, and Dan James has got the best goals and assists this season in his life, you know. Bamford not available for QPR, Strout being out, who was the cornerstone of our defence. He mentions about Ipswich having 2 weeks without a game, etc. It helps them. But again, that's not really their fault, is it? Because the Coventry went through. That's not their fault. And to be fair, at that time, all their key players came back, which he has got a great point. Wes Burns came back, George Hurst, many others. So we did hit a bit of a thing. But then again, this one, the squad isn't as deep as what we all thought and as good as we all thought, potentially. Yeah. Then he was on about, QPR, what went wrong? Because Phil Haid asked him, like, it's the worst performance of the season. What went wrong? And he says, we were not brave at all in our compactness in the pressing. First goal we conceded was poor. Offensive players tried to press and the midfield line did not move up. We had too much desire to not concede and stood off them. Second goal felt like not competitive enough. We had all our players behind the ball, but let him get a clean finish off. That was Anderson in off the left. It was too easy. Second half, 2 set pieces, and the game was done. Critical with myself because I took Byram off at 2-0, and this was a mistake. I thought at this moment, second game in 4 days, we know his injury CV. I'll take him off. Mateo came on. What happened? We conceded a third goal where Byram would normally be at the set piece. That's where Matteo was. And the fourth goal was where Sam Byram would be too. So, yeah. And I don't need to show you that video clip because, like I say, it becomes a thing again where people think I'm bashing thing. It was just, I thought it was a good point, like, to bring up, but people took out what they said and ran. Listen, look, that was the presser. There was a lot of maybe copious or telling of the fans to say, look, we've probably overdone what we thought we were going to overdone. So, don't get too het up about it with everything that went on. We've not had a bad season. Yeah. And look, if we don't go up Saturday, and if we go to the place and we don't go up, I'm excited for next season. He spoke about needing experience. We'll get that in. You can see why he wanted Kenny McLean from Norwich, for example. Good player as well, in my opinion, played well against those. We will improve. We will improve. Folks, I am live straight after this as well on another channel, by the way. More Judge More. We're going to be talking about Somerville and Liverpool, and I'm there with LB and Don Hussam as well. So I'd love you to come over and watch us over there. So yeah, I'm excited for next season. no matter what division we're in. Joey said lots, but we got to see where we go and what players we lose. Yeah, I think we'll lose a few, but we'll be fine. It's going live straight away, Vega. Thank you very much, Mike Hart. That means a lot. It's going live. I've put a redirect on, folks, so we'll all just go on over. Yeah, we'll go on over. And we're going over now, actually. So you don't need to do anything. You don't need to adjust your TV sets or anything. You know, we'll go straight on over there. I think they'll be live, in all honesty. So join us over there. Anyway, so smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, hit the notification bell. I'll be back at 6 o'clock. Don't forget that, 6 o'clock, White Rose Rivals. I've also filmed my preview for Southampton, which will be out in the morning. So there's going to be a redirect on. You don't need to do anything. When this one ends, we'll go straight on over there to more gender. So, yeah, we will be there. I'm going over there. And, yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Make sure you join me, though. I want you to put, actually... Thank you, Andreas Toblin. I want you to put in the chat, Just Joe Raid. Just Joe Raid. Just Joe Raid. Just Joe Raid, yeah? I'll see you over there. Just Joe Raid. Do that. Don't adjust your sets, and I'll see you in 2.